example of an actual local company in Long Beach called Bike Station. Some of you may be familiar with. It actually started out as a nonprofit company. They create these stations near public transportation, where if you would like to ride your bike to work or to this allows you to ride your bike to a public, a bus station or metro station, then take the metro to your work destination, and your bike is secure. It can be serviced. It can be locked. Some of these even have showers and lockers associated with them. So they got a lot of interest from there's one going in Santa Monica. They're going to Long Beach. There's other ones going around the country and even around the world. They got so much interest from public agencies to do this, and they've gotten interest from university campuses and even corporate campuses to do this, that they have formed now a for-profit subsidiary and raised $250,000, $500,000 of private investment to capitalize this private subsidiary because it is a public-private partnership, and investors now have a way of making actual financial return on their investment. The nonprofit part continues in more of an advocacy and educational role, and the for-profit one is actually doing the implementation. And it's right here in LA, and I think you're going to see it soon around the country.
Well, the service sector historically has been difficult to fund because what you're usually looking at is something that you can't protect. So if you can't protect what you have, then there are no barriers to entry, and that's a real issue. So historically speaking, venture capitalists have not been very fond of investing in this sector. However, having said that, I think there's a huge opportunity for service businesses in clean tech. So my advice would be try and get a small round of angel financing. Don't go to the VCs, and try to create a viable business. You don't have to sell it in 5 years. You can just keep it going. There's definitely a demand for these products, but without any IP or technology to back it up, it would not justify our ratio for returns typically, and therefore we would be very hesitant to look at service companies.
Great. Any other questions? Way in the back. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Movement pretty much died, and the word LEV stands for light electric vehicle, meaning just something very simple, simply made, goes 20 miles an hour or 20 miles on a charge. So my question and also comment is that why can't we start, we're smart, we're a very smart country, we can make these things here. We're spending all this money and time and effort. My brother was the head of one of the biggest LEV companies here in Los Angeles, and by the time you go overseas and make the product and bring it back and then deal with the issues of the mistakes that it came, shipping it back and forth, why can't we just make these vehicles here in this country, locally, in a small circle, and with American labor, American money? Why aren't we doing this? Why are we? It seems like we're ramping up, and you were talking about Walmart. Just to finish up is, when I enter that store, I almost immediately feel that almost everything in that store is coming from overseas, from China. So what can we do about this?
Well, that's kind of where capitalism has gone wrong in a way, right? I mean, in a way, I can very much understand why it is that way, because if you put yourself in the position of the person writing the check, you want that company to make the most amount of money and spend the least amount of money, and the least amount means you're shipping it overseas. So that's very much been the flavor of the month for almost 10, 15 years now. So I think fundamentally, you said we're a very smart country. I was born in Germany and came over here when I was 18, and we had 3 trash cans at every bus stop when I left the country in '95. And I look around this city, I don't know if we're that smart. And I think it's up to us and not necessarily the government to demand that there's going to be change.
Like a Schwinn bike in the 1950s, which still exists today, and you can still buy parts for those bikes. we need to start doing that with these types of vehicles, where somebody invests $1,000 in a high-quality vehicle, and over 20 years just keeps fixing it and giving it to their kids and cycling that vehicle through their lifetime and other people's lifetime. Instead of buying these products that are consumed within 6 months or 6 months or a year and thrown into the trash and eventually even the landfills with the original first cycle of light electric vehicles in the 90s, which are all non-existent now.
Well, we're a consumer-based, country, and we like to consume and then throw things away. Ultimately, 9 out of 10 products that are being purchased end up in the landfill.
We have 2 more questions, and so let's see. I promised you a question. Please go ahead. Yeah.
What do you guys think of the air car, if you know about it, and why aren't people talking about it more, considering it's going to be ready to hit the road by the end of 2009? And I actually have a second question, which is if the American government is going to be investing a lot of money in green industry, which is great, they're obviously going to be printing a lot of money. Doesn't that mean that the dollar is going to lose value against other currencies? So shouldn't we be investing in, say, the euro or the Canadian dollar?
They've got plenty of problems too.
What else was there? So the air car, I've definitely followed it for the last few years, and it just sounds like a great idea. I know Tata Motors is picking up on it and is going to start producing cars. I don't know when it's coming to the States, but there's a lot of competition in the vehicle business, and it's just a matter of seeing if that one takes off or not. I'm not positive it will, but maybe it will happen.
I mean, it's not a great industry to be investing in right now, I guess. Right. I don't know. Everyone seems to be shaking a cup. I think with regard to the sort of printing of dollars and currencies and whatnot, the green initiative that the government has undertaken and local governments is really a drop in the bucket compared to what's really being deployed to fiscal stimulus here with regard to the recession. So I think it's de minimis when it comes to the devaluation of the dollar, and certainly other nations right now are sort of printing a lot of money as well. So with regard to valuations of the dollar, which I know a little bit about because I used to trade the dollar, is that the reason the dollar hasn't deflated and imploded is because every other country in the world is just printing money to stimulate their economy. So it's sort of an equal playing field. And when it really comes down to it, when the proverbial crap hits the fan worldwide, everybody moves to the dollar despite all of our blemishes and black eyes. The bottom line is the world looks to the dollar as the currency, and our treasury bills as the safest haven, even beyond their own sort of government issuances. So I think that's sort of the reason why we're okay when it comes to that for now. Anyway.
I would concur with Bill on that. I follow currency and do trade, and right now there's really not a trade out there that looks compelling. Keep your money in U.S. dollars.
One more question, then we'll wrap it up. Please, go ahead.